Welcome to my channel. If you've ever sifted through spare change in your pocket or that old jar on the kitchen counter, you might not think twice about the coins you find. A quarter's a quarter, right? Worth 25 cents. Just another piece of metal to feed a vending machine or laundry machine. But sometimes, buried in that loose change, is a story. A hidden gem with more value than you could ever guess at first glance. And today, we're diving into one such story, a coin that's quietly captured the attention of collectors around the country. A 1993 United States $quarter, Roosevelt design, minted in Philadelphia and marked with the simple letter P. At first glance, nothing about this coin seems extraordinary. But keep watching, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why this particular quarter could be worth up to $75 today. Now let's rewind time to the early 1990s. The world was shifting. In 1993, Bill Clinton had just taken office as the 42nd President of the United States. The internet was slowly beginning to creep into homes, although few people could imagine how transformative it would become. Jurassic Park was dominating the box office. And while all of this was unfolding on the global stage, in the heart of the U.S. Mint facilities, millions of coins were quietly being struck for everyday use. Among them, the unassuming 1993 quarter. What makes the 1993 P Mint quarter interesting isn't necessarily in the design, it's in the details of its creation and what has happened since. The P Mint mark tells us this coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. In 1993, over 639 million quarters were minted in Philadelphia alone. That's a massive number. So how could a coin produced in such large quantities be worth $75 today? The answer lies in a combination of factors: condition, rarity of quality, collector demand, and a few interesting quirks of the minting process. Most quarters from 1993 were struck for circulation. That means they were made quickly, with efficiency as the priority. These coins were intended for everyday use, to be passed from hand to hand, worn down, scratched, and nicked through years of use. Because of that, finding a 1993 P quarter in excellent condition is far less common than you might think. While hundreds of millions were made, the number that survived in pristine, uncirculated, or near flawless condition is significantly smaller. Imagine that. A coin most people wouldn't think twice about dropping in a parking meter is suddenly a small treasure. Not because it's made of silver, it isn't. Not because of an error, though we'll get to that in a moment. But simply because of its condition and the fact that so few examples from 1993 were preserved that well. Some coins also display striking errors that make them even more desirable to collectors. While no major error varieties have been widely reported for the 1993 P quarter, there are always small anomalies that show up from time to time: double dies, off-center strikes, planchet errors. These kinds of mistakes can push a coin's value even higher, depending on severity and visibility. If you're holding a 1993 quarter and notice anything odd, like a misaligned edge, strange doubling of the letters or numbers, or missing design elements, it might be worth having a professional take a look. But even without errors, the simple rarity of high-grade examples makes this coin valuable. Many collectors aim to complete full sets of Washington quarters, one from each year and each mint. And when they reach 1993, finding a P Mint coin in mint state 67 or higher is a challenge. That scarcity drives up demand, and with demand comes higher prices. For the average collector, that 1993 P quarter in MS 67 condition is one of those elusive pieces that adds prestige to a collection. Where collectors once focused only on older, rarer coins from the 1800s or early 1900s, today there's a growing appreciation for more recent issues, especially those in high grades. This shift in demand has led to a re-evaluation of coins like the 1993 P quarter. So, what does all this mean for you? Well, if you happen to come across a 1993 quarter with a P Mint mark, it might be worth taking a closer look. Is it scratched or worn? Probably not worth more than face value. But if it looks exceptionally clean, sharp details, strong luster, no visible nicks or marks, you might just have something special. Even better, if you get it graded and it comes back at MS 67 or above, you could be looking at a coin worth $75 or more, and here's where the story really comes full circle. Think back to how you felt the last time you had spare change in your hand. Most of us treat coins as disposable. We don't look at them, don't think about them. But maybe we should. Because every coin is a little piece of history. Every coin has a story, where it was made, how it traveled, what it's seen. And sometimes, that story ends with a surprising twist. In the case of the 1993 P quarter, it's a story of an everyday object becoming unexpectedly valuable. A coin meant to be spent, lost, forgotten, now sought after by collectors, treasured for its rarity in perfect form, and trading hands not for 25 cents, but for $75. It's a powerful reminder that value is often hidden in plain sight. That sometimes, it pays to slow down, to look closely, and to appreciate the things we take for granted. Have you ever held history in your hand without even knowing it? Maybe you've dropped it in a vending machine, passed it over at the gas station, or tossed it into a coin jar without a second thought. But what if one of those plain, everyday coins was actually something far more special? Something rare. Something valuable. Something that tells a powerful story. That's exactly the case with one unassuming piece of pocket change, the 2019 War in the Pacific quarter dollar. And today, we're diving deep into its origin, its meaning, and why collectors are now paying up to $85 for one specific version of this coin. Let's start with the basics. It looks like any other quarter at first glance. Just 25 cents. A silver-colored coin with George Washington's profile on the front. Nothing new, right? But flip it over, and you enter a whole different world. Because what's on the back isn't just decorative, it's a visual tribute to one of the most intense, significant battles in the history of World War II. The War in the Pacific quarter was released as part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, a series that ran from 2010 to 2021. This program was the U.S. Mint's tribute to national parks and historic sites across all 50 states and U.S. territories. In 2019, one of the featured locations was Guam, an island that played a critical role during World War II, especially in the Pacific theater of the war. Now, if you're not a history buff, here's why that matters. During World War II, Guam was invaded by Japanese forces just hours after the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941. The island remained under Japanese occupation for over 2.5 years, until U.S. forces retook it in July of 1944. The Battle of Guam was brutal. It was long. And it was costly. But it was also a turning point. A powerful moment in time when American and Allied forces pushed forward against incredible odds to secure a critical foothold in the Pacific. The coin's reverse design, created by artist Joel Iskowitz and sculpted by Michael Gaudioso, captures a stunning moment from that historic campaign. It shows two American soldiers storming the beach at Asan Bay. One of them is in the water, charging forward with a rifle. The other is crouched and moving strategically across the sand, using natural cover. In the background, palm trees sway in the heat, and warships loom in the distance, just offshore. It's not just a drawing. It's a snapshot of courage, sacrifice, and a nation fighting for freedom in a world at war. What makes this particular coin even more compelling isn't just the story behind it, but the story of how it was made. You see, there were actually several versions of the War in the Pacific quarter minted in 2019. The coin came out of 3 different U.S. mint locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. You can tell which one you have by looking at the mint mark, a tiny letter stamped on the obverse side, right next to Washington's ponytail. The letter P stands for Philadelphia. D means Denver. And S indicates San Francisco. Now, here's where things get interesting. Most people think Philadelphia minted coins aren't particularly rare. After all, the Philly Mint produces coins in massive quantities. But in this case, something unexpected happened. The Philadelphia version of the War in the Pacific quarter, specifically with a Roosevelt mint mark P, became a standout. While millions of these coins were made overall, very few remained in pristine condition. And even fewer were struck with certain high-quality characteristics that collectors look for, things like sharp details, clean surfaces, and a strong, well-centered strike. On top of that, many of these quarters went directly into circulation, meaning they got scratched, dinged, and worn down almost immediately. The chance of finding a near-perfect, uncirculated example from Philadelphia became surprisingly rare. And that scarcity, combined with the historical significance and artistic beauty of the coin, pushed demand through the roof. So next time you get change, don't just toss it aside. Flip those quarters. Look closely. You never know what treasure might be hiding in plain sight. Maybe you'll find a tiny piece of Guam's story, etched forever in metal. And if that Roosevelt Mint Mark P is there, and it's in great condition, you might be holding something worth far more than 25 cents, now you know the full story. A humble quarter. A dramatic history. A rare minting. A collector's dream. And today, that 2019 War in the Pacific $quarter from the Philadelphia Mint, the one with the Roosevelt P mark, is commanding prices up to $85 in the right condition. Not bad for a coin most people would never look at twice. So go ahead. Check your pockets. Search your jars. That piece of history might be closer than you think. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video fascinating, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Have you ever come across a rare quarter in your change? Let us know. There's a whole world of stories in your pocket, and we're just getting started.